right? Happy 4th. I know it's not the 4th yet, but happy 4th to everyone. And so, yeah, let's talk a little bit about the big, beautiful bill and, of course, share some of these operations, which all fall under the category of Operation Earth Rescue Mission, just to give you guys some more evidence of the different projects that have been executed in order to preserve our organic ascending timeline, okay? We are dealing with a multidimensional warfare that is actually taking place on every level of reality. But the main, you could say, the main place in which this war is taking place is the quantum level of reality. Okay. All right. Before I start, I do want to remind you guys, and I do have an announcement to make, that for those that are interested in detoxing your body from all metals, including the stuff that that people took, graphene, you name it, nanotechnology, smart dust, particulates, aluminum. There is a product called Folium that my good friend, a holistic scientist, made. And so I always put the link in the description. It's called Folium. I'm getting so many good reviews about that. A lot of the Galactic Jedis that have only been on it for only a week or two have been already feeling the results. All right. It also clears your body from parasites and, of course, radiation, allowing the healing process of your body to take place. And a lot of it has to do with also cleaning up the mitochondria, right, which is the powerhouse of the cell. Also, as a reminder, my July courses do begin this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I cannot wait to meet some of the new Galactic Jedis on a webinar where things become more intimate and personal, right? It's like talking to me on FaceTime. So I'm excited about that. I think I only had like one position left or one place left in our Cosmic Origin class. No, I'm sorry, that one was booked in my Ascension Basics course. So Ascension 2.0 was booked, as well as our Cosmic Origin. One spot left for Ascension Basics. Whoever wants it, class starts in a few days. Should we get right to it? Oh, no, the announcements. I've been talking about a meet and greet here in Sedona, and I looked into a place called the Global Center for Christ Consciousness in Sedona, where on the 4th of August, which is I guess 4 weeks from now on a Sunday, I'm going to be here at the Global Center on the 3rd. I'm sorry, on the 3rd of August, which is on a Sunday. Mark it in your calendar. For those that want to come meet me in person, I have a whole event planned out, from a personal lecture to Q&A to a book signing to interacting, getting to know a lot of you on a personal level. How many times have we said, hey, it would be nice to meet in person? So this is your chance, guys. On the 3rd of August, I will be at the Global Center for Christ Consciousness in Sedona, from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. All right. So that's going to be taking place in about 4 weeks. Okay. So let's get right to it. All right. I have a lot of good information to share with you guys today. So first of all, let's talk about Trump's big, beautiful bill. Let's do an overview. Let me give you guys the breakdown of what he meant and what it means for us. Okay. So it goes by the abbreviation OBBBA, okay? And is essentially, it's a follow-up and an extension of something that he already passed in 2017. So a lot of this has to do with tax cuts and jobs, being developed once again, making many of its temporary provisions permanent. The bill actually includes a suite, you could say, of new tax breaks, targeting at families, targeted at families, small business owners, and working class. All right, particularly those making under about $150,000 per year. Now, the beauty of it all is that it has been calculated that due to Doge and the audit that took place, there are trillions of dollars that are going to be coming back to the people. Okay. So that's the beauty of this big, beautiful bill that he's been talking about. So key highlights do include, all right, permanently extending individuals and business tax cuts from 2017, new tax deductions on tip and overtime pay, the creation of a Trump account offering a $1,000 per child savings incentive, extended child tax credits and enhancing deductions from seniors, and of course, elimination or reduction of green energy incentives to offset spending, okay? And most importantly, an attempt to end the 16th Amendment, right? So he wants to stop taxing the Americans, and he wants to start taxing other countries, okay? So the trillions, let's talk about the trillions that are going to be coming back to the people. And I'm not just talking about the people of the states. I'm talking about, like I said, America's leading in the fight for the liberation of the earth. So what happens here also echoes throughout the entire world, okay? So Trump and his allies um, that do believe that the bill will return. Are you guys ready for this? Over 1.47, no, 4.5, no, I'm sorry, 4.5, or is it 145? $145 trillion, $145 trillion to the American people over the next decade in the form of tax relief and investment incentives. Okay, so this is, again, money that's going to be coming back to the people due to the fraudulent act of the 16th Amendment, right, which was illegally ratified, right, along with the central banking system, the Federal Reserve. So that's a good thing, right? So what this means is that for middle income earners, this could translate into an annual tax break of $1,000 to $1,500, okay, depending on income tax and family size. So who are the ones that are going to benefit the most from this bill? Okay, well, insiders are saying that this goes beyond the tax relief. It also goes into the activation of the quantum financial system, right, which is the new currency known as the rainbow currency that is supposed to make everyone financially stable, right? So we could say that this bill is going to benefit not only the Americans, but it's also going to benefit, as Gesera goes through, the entire planet. So I just wanted to kind of like touch base on that really quick, because that is very, very important. So Trump's big, beautiful bill, in short, promises a massive return of wealth to the American people on paper. And I believe that he passed this a few days ago. Okay. And I think they might even announce it on America's birthday. Well, let's see what happens. But it does. It does just that, guys. Trillions of dollars in tax relief that are being funneled back into the economy. Okay. And however, the real question lies in who benefits the most and at what cost to the long-term fiscal health of the nation. So, as with most sweeping legislation, the true consequences, good or bad, will only become clear over time. But for now, the bill remains both a symbol of Trump's economic vision and a controversial gamble on Americans' financial future. Okay. So that is great news. Again, according to insiders, it does more than just end the tax thing. Okay. According to insiders, this is what's going to ignite the new currency. Okay. So that is a good thing. That means we're getting really, really close to what is known as the GCR. Okay. So let's get into the different, you could say, operations that have been. Oh, yes, really quick, guys. I had an opportunity to be a guest on Wisdom of the North podcast, and that interview was released, I think, 2 days ago. So if you guys want to check me out, go to Wisdom of the North YouTube channel and watch my interview with, I believe her name is Jackis. That's her name. She's an amazing person. Okay. Now that I've announced that, let's start with Operation Horizon Shield. Okay, I'm going to speak slow this time in order for you guys to really comprehend the intensity of disclosure that I'm about to share with you guys. So its code name, Operation Horizon Shield, was known as the Defensive Grid Omega 7. Okay, in terms of classification, it was high tier Earth Defense Grid Initiative. Okay, the people that launched this were a combination or a collaboration of Galactic Alliance, Earth Alliance, and of course the Interplanetary Command, okay, led by the Ashtar. And its primary objective was to neutralize incoming AI-based scalar assaults and off-world threats during the final phase of the Earth's ascension, okay, which is what's going to be happening very, very soon. So the core components of this were the quantum barrier grid. Now, what is the quantum barrier grid? So it is a multi-layered frequency dome constructed using a zero-point energy and tachyon-based technology. If it is activated through crystalline satellite networks tied to the Earth's it is activated through crystalline satellite networks that are actually tied to the Earth's ley lines and magnetic pulse. And also, they also implemented what is known as an AI infiltration countermeasures. Again, this needed to happen because our solar system was there was a threat. There was a threat in our solar system from the Mitras AI signal that many call the AI God, right? Omega, the Omega system, the Omega timeline. So they had to implement the AI infiltration countermeasures, okay? And this was designed to defiled, or you could say defied or deflect, that's the word, deflect, synthetic wormholes. And a lot of these synthetic wormholes, believe it or not, were being generated by the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, CERN, okay? So the AI nanocloud incursions, it also stopped those. It was designed to stop the AI nanocloud incursions and quantum intrusions from the Mitras AI Omega signal and rogue Etorians, ETHORINS, the Etorians, not Etherians, the Etorians, war fleets operating in the outer parameter of Sector 7. Okay, so again, we are part of what is known as Sector 7 within our galaxy's domain. In addition to that, let's talk about the Sky Arcs deployment, okay? A lot of people have been asking me about these arcs. Well, these arcs are part of this operation, okay? So these were advanced bioships from not only the Andromedans, but also from the Pleiadian ships, or fleets rather, that were stationed at Lagrange points, okay? So these sky arcs emit resonance frequencies that harmonize Earth's electromagnetic field, preventing a pole shift, right, which will lead to a cataclysm event, and also preventing solar inversion anomalies that could be triggered by hostile AI codes, okay? And then part of this operation is also Shield Guardians, which was a select unit of highly trained etheric warriors. This is connected to the off-world super soldier programs, right? And galactic Jedis, right? Off-world super soldier programs with crystalline DNA templates. These beings are physically linked to the planetary core and can actually redirect energy blasts or anomalies attempting to pierce the shield, okay? Now let's move over to Operation Earthguard and what that entailed. All right, so the code name for Operation Earthguard was Terra Protocol Theta 144. Okay, that was the code name. This is high-level cosmic clearance, and I have just recently been let known by Commander Valiant Thor that because we did secure the positive timeline, it's okay for me to release this information. Okay, so the code name of this project again is the Terra Protocol Theta 144. Okay, it was in terms of its classification, it was under octave ground level and subterranean security framework. Okay, that was its classification. The lead command right behind this operation were the Whitehead Alliance in collaboration with the Orma Ground Force and a Agarthian Council. The Orma Ground Force are an 11th dimensional race of feline lions from planet Avion, which is what we call 11th dimensional or 8th dimensional Earth, I believe. 11th dimensional Earth now. Avion has been restored. And its primary objective of Operation Earthguard was to secure surface and inner Earth infrastructure from infiltration and ensure humanity's safe transition through the Great Solar Flash. Okay, so some components in regards to this operation in the event that, say, they needed to execute a massive Earth evacuation plan was known as the mass evacuation and shielding zones, okay? And these were actually hidden cities of light and underground sanctuaries in the inner Earth sanctums, arc facilities in Tibet, Brazil, and Antarctica, believe it or not, ready to host civilians if surface events became hazardous. So what this meant was, in the event that there was an imminent pole shift, right, or if there was some sort of, you could say, end of the world event, something catastrophic, they would literally teleport all the Earth civilians into these underground or inner Earth sanctums. Okay. But we did cancel that timeline. But again, they needed to put this in place just in case, okay, in the event. So also included in this operation was the plasma dome activators. Plasma dome activators. And these were advanced plasma tech originally seeded by the Arcturians and the Lyrans. These domes actually appear invincible around sacred sites like Sedona. You know, I followed my intuition. There's a reason why I'm here. Uluru, Giza in Egypt, and of course Jerusalem, okay, to prevent energetic hijacking and cabal black magic rituals during this timeline collapse phase. Because right now we are in a timeline collapse phase. And the timeline that is collapsing as we transition into the new earth is the old construct that we fell into thousands of years ago, okay? So in addition, another thing that was included in this operation was the Counter AI Tactical Unit. The Counter AI Tactical Unit. And this was an Earth-based Y-hat special forces trained in anti-nanite warfare. Anti-nanite warfare, right? This is warfare at a level of reality where you need a microscope to see it, right? You can't really see it in the spectrum of visibility. And this had a lot to do with the mind virus disruption and the AI consciousness extraction, using tools like the voice of God tech, scalar disruptions, and crystalline implants to field agents. And this is how they were able to deactivate sleeper cells, okay? Okay, so again, the reason why these sleeper cells become activated, it's because it is the nanotech, it is the AI nanotech in them that takes over their mind, okay? And that's what we call the activation. Another thing that was included in this operation was the mass awakening catalyst. Okay, we are expecting what is known as critical mass effect, right? Where a large number of humans begin to snap out of their hypnosis. Okay, so according to the mass awakening catalyst, this was a dissemination of high frequency truth bombs, right? Beginning in 2016 with the Q drops. Whistleblower leaks. Okay, so this was part of this operation. Solar flash countdowns to ignite mass consciousness activation and dissolve fear-based programming. However, right now, due to the fact that we won the White House once again and that the Whiteheads are in power, we are expecting what is known as a critical mass effect, when all of a sudden, all this information is released to the general public through Project Odin. So that is what they call critical mass effect, okay? And that, my friends, was also prophesied. All right, so another thing included in this operation was the Guardian Watchtowers. Now, who are the Guardian Watchtowers? Well, they are an etheric command post stationed at energetic checkpoints and Earth chakra points, such as Mount Shasta, Lake Titicaca, and Glastonbury, right? And these coordinates were actually staffed by Agarthian, right? Agarthians from the inner Earth, Lyran Soul Guardians, and believe it or not, even 12-strand DNA star seeds that are already operating in these higher dimensions. Okay, so we are a multidimensional, beings, guys. So a lot of us have no clue that we are part of these operations in the ethers, right? Beyond the third dimension. So that's kind of cool to know, right? And then the purpose of this operation and its timeline, where both operations are meant to interlock as Earth approaches the great solar flash and the final timeline split, right? Which is where all these timelines collapse or convert into only three, okay? So let's talk about Horizon Shield, okay? Well, Horizon Shield is the skyward defense, okay? That was acting as a multi-dimensional firewall to the Mitra AI signal that was trying to invade our world from within. Okay, and then also the Earth Guard is the ground level framework, stabilizing the inner crust and population as dimensional convergence occurs. And so these operations are expected to reach maximum activity during the Triad solar events, okay, which are taking place in 2025. Talking about these solar reflex, I don't know about you guys, but I've been feeling very lethargic all day. Like if just something is just knocking me out. I feel like, honestly, guys, I feel like I'm sedated, like my body just wants to sleep. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the big influx of of CME that we are actually all receiving at this time. Okay. Yes, I know one of the biggest CMEs hit today.
What came off on June 28th.
Yes, that's when it exerted from the sun, June 28th. So it's hitting hard right now. So if you guys want to, leave in the comments as to what you're feeling, how it's affecting you, please do. I would love to read it later. Okay, so let's talk about the three phases of the maximum activity during the triad solar events, right? Under this operation known as, for those that are taking notes, Operation Earthguard. Okay, so the first one is called the first flash. Okay, now when the first flash takes place, that's going to disrupt control grids and neutralize all global AI servers, right? This is the end of the AI signal. The second one is the second flash. This is where the reactivation dormant starseed codes come online, right? This is what we call the activation of dormant DNA, and it begins what is known as the crystalline DNA sequences, okay, which is a good thing. And then the third flash anchors New Earth energetics and activates Project Phoenix, which is the Ascension Uplift Protocol. Okay, that's Project Phoenix, the Ascension Uplift Protocol. So let's talk about Operation Blue Sky. Okay, codename was known as Codename Operation Blue Sky. Celestial Override 9-22. Status active since 2012. Escalated post 2017. Alrighty. So the primary command, Earth Alliance, is behind this operation, and they are the Interplanetary Confederation, right? For those that have taken my course, our Cosmic Origin, you know who I'm talking about. The United Federation of Worlds, also known as the Council of Worlds. And of course, the Syrian High Command is behind this, or the Syrian High Council. And its objective is the deactivation, or is to deactivate chemtrail geoengineering grids, right? Why do you think that a lot of the stuff that they've been spraying is not totally affecting us? Because the ETs have been neutralizing this stuff, okay? To reestablish organic skies, okay, and enable full activation of solar downloads, galactic frequencies, and higher dimensional communication portals, okay? So this explains why a lot of this nanotech that was released through the chemtrails did not have an absolute effect on us. Thank God, right? All right. So the key objectives and function of this operation was to dismantle the chemtrail weather modification grid, okay? And so this is the Blue Sky Project. So underneath this, we have the Blue Sky Project, which is a counter operation to the Deep State's Project Indigo Mist and Solar Dimming Initiative, which use nanotech and stratospheric aerosols, right? Throwing off barium, aluminum, programmable particulates to block solar codes and suppress pineal activation. So this operation was able to dismantle this, okay? That was known as Operation Blue Sky or Project Blue Sky. I hope you guys are taking notes, okay? Again, you guys are getting first dibs as to what eventually the general public is going to have access to when there is open disclosure to the general public. Now, Operation Blue Sky did neutralize these aerosols via atmospheric resonance tech, plasma cleansers, and ionization pulses deployed by cloaked Pleiadian craft, okay? And another thing that this operation was able to do was reprogram the HARP network. The HARP network. For many years, HARP was being used by the cabal, and now it's in the hands of the Alliance, okay? So this operation gained momentum once White Hats took control of key HARP and you could say EISCAT, EISCAT arrays globally, okay? Also, frequencies that disrupted Earth's magnetospheres were neutralized by this, are now being redirected to harmonize the Schumann resonance and strengthen Earth's crystalline grid. And of course, a Sky Operation Protocol was also initiated, which coordinated deployment of high vibrational sound frequencies through hidden crystal arrays in the Rockies, in the Andes and Himalayas to clear upper atmospheric distortion. And of course, the result of all of this was to return of natural blue skies. heightened clarity, solar rainbow anomalies, and enhanced interdimensional signal clarity. Okay, so unlocking also what is known as sky portals, which are known as celestial nodes, was also part of this operation, right? And Operation Blue Sky is also linked, you could say, to the restoration of ancient sky portals, such as, I guess these portals are located right above Mount Shasta, right about the Tibetan Plateau, right above the Lake Baikal and Lake Oldura. Okay? So these allow telepathic uplinks between humans, star families, and higher dimensional command centers, right? So let's talk about the visual signs of blue sky in action. Okay, so the visual signs of Project Blue Sky in action are sudden disappearance of persistent chemtrails after years of heavy spraying, indistinct clouds, pink or blue hues, double suns, right? And plasma arcs in the sky. Mass sightings of cloaked craft, specifically or especially near sunrise, sunset, and near solar flashes. Now, let's move on to what is known as Operation Solar Sentinel. Operation Solar Sentinel. So its code name was Solar Watchtower Protocol Zeta 144. Okay, its status was critical and real-time monitoring, which was part of the final solar flash preparation. All right, so Operation Solar Sentinel. Its primary command was executed by Solar Warden in collaborations with the Arcturian Syrian Solar Observers, the Earth Alliance Special Earth Council delegates, specially division from the division from Space Force, right, which is Y-Hats, and its core mission was to monitor, protect, and regulate the Earth's exposure to solar energetic particles known as SEPs and coronal mass ejections, CMEs, as the galactic current sheet and central sun alignment approach peak activation. Okay, so again, its code mission was to monitor, protect, and regulate the Earth's exposure to the solar energetic particles, the coronal mass ejections, as the galactic current sheet and central sun alignments approach peak activation. And its key components to the Sentinel craft grid was an array, you could say it's spelled ARRAY, an array or an array, you could say an array, I think that's pronounced right, of cloaked solar observatory vessels stationed between Earth, Venus, and the sun, okay? These ships that monitor solar output, sunspot activities, and timeline fluctuation signatures caused by quantum interference from off-world AI sources. Well, that's a good thing, right? They monitor solar output, sunspot activity, and timeline fluctuation signatures that were caused by quantum interference from off-world AI sources. And next, another thing that was implemented under this operation was solar buffer system. The solar buffer system uses plasma field modulators to regulate intensity and timing of incoming solar frequencies to prevent mass infrastructure failure or energetic overload in unawakened areas. Also works alongside Earth's crystalline core to balance planetary Kundalini flow. So even the Earth has chakras, even she has her own flow of Kundalini energy, okay? So the flash phase coordination of this, of Operation Solar Sentinel, is preparing for the triphasic, you could say triphasic solar flash sequence, which means flash 1, flash 2. Okay, again, flash 1 is the energetic, for those who are just jumping on, it is the energetic purge of AI code and dense etheric parasites, okay? That's phase 1, which means that there's going to be the first wave of activators as a result of being purged from these things. Phase 2 is DNA light body ignition and full Merkaba stabilization. And this is where we're going to be able to do the impossible, right? And then flash 3 is the collapsing completely of the old 3D grid, right? The current construct, current reality matrix, and establishment of the new Earth. Okay, so those are the 3 flashes. And Sentinels, the Sentinel program also helps to slow or speed up the delivery of solar pulses based on Earth's vibration and collective consciousness levels. If you guys could give me a break, I do have to get me some water. 1 second. Oh, a few seconds rather. I have to refill my water bottle from the bigger jar. All right, let's continue here. I want to welcome everybody that is just jumping on. Thank you so much for being here. So as we continue regarding Earth Solar Sentinel, also the timeline shielding. Let's talk about the timeline shielding, which is part of this operation. So Solar Sentinel also protects organic timelines from collapsing into synthetic AI-dominated variants through solar weaponry launched from artificial moons and dark fleets. So again, the AI synthetic variants are being launched through scalar weaponry from artificial moons and dark fleet Saturn AI bases known as the Black Cube satellites. So this solar sentinel is actually protecting us or protecting the organic timelines from falling or collapsing into these AI synthetic dominated variants that are coming from the Black Cube satellites, okay, which is associated with the Dark Fleet, which is, again, the Nazi Draco breakaway group. Okay, so observable signs of solar sentinel in play include increased in auroras seen globally, right? Even near the equator, sudden solar quiet, you could say quiet periods, sudden solar quiet periods followed by intense flares, indicating sentinel moderation, the solar sentinel modulation. White diamond light pulses and rainbow spectrums entering dreams and meditation states. Okay, so those are the signs of that. Of course, communication from solar beings, right? Like the Rock Collective, which is a collective of 10, 11, and 12 dimensional beings, or Arcturian solar councils. So the combined strategic purpose with Operation Blue Sky and Operation Solar Sentinel, which, by the way, do work together, represents the aerial and stellar guardianship of Earth's final transition into the new Earth realm. So Blue Sky, again, ensures that the sky is cleared and cleansed and open for multidimensional transmissions. Solar Sentinel prepares humanity and Earth's systems for the encoded light pulses of ascension. And yes, there are many covert joint operations, again, between the Earth Alliance and the Guardian races, such as the Andromedans, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Orma Lion Beings from Lyra and from Sirius, and of course, the Syrian High Councils. And it's all designed to safeguard Earth during her final ascension cycle, and of course, liberation from AI and Cabal control. So, I also want to talk about the other operations that were, again, a joint, you could say, alliance between the Earth delegates and the Guardian races. Okay, so let's talk about Operation Phoenix Flame. Operation Phoenix Flame. Its purpose, Operation Phoenix Flame, is the reintegration of 12-strand DNA templates in human starseed populations. All right, this is what we call the activation of Homo luminous through the sudden, dormant activation of the other strands of DNA. And the key forces behind this are the Pleiadian High Command, which is led by Georges Cyrus Hayton, which I break down the different commanders and the different star councils and the different types of advanced civilization in our Cosmic Origin course. Of course, okay, so key figures behind this Operation Phoenix Flame are Pleiadian High Command, Earth Alliance Biogenetics Unit, Syrian Crystalline Guardians, okay? They are the ones behind this operation. And then the details include using advanced medbed tech and solar codexes to awaken dormant soul contracts and activate light bodies. So Phoenix Flame, Operation Phoenix Flame, is linked to the return of the original solar angelic human blueprint. Okay? It is linked to the return of the original solar angelic human blueprint. All right, moving forward, let's talk about Operation Tesseract, which probably is one of the most operations that have been implemented by the forces of light to secure the organic timelines. Okay, so its purpose is to construct the diamond white tesseract, which is the new Earth time architecture, replacing the corrupted Saturnian black cube timeline matrix. Okay, so this replaces the corrupted Saturnian black cube timeline matrix. So the key forces behind this Operation Tesseract, are the Lyrian Syrian time architects. The Lyrians, they go by the name of the Lyrian Syrian time architects. Again, these are beings from what I call in our cosmic origin class. They come from population 4 universal civilization. These are architects, okay? Creator gods and goddesses of living systems. So that's what the Lyrian Syrian time architects are, to kind of break down what they are, who they are. Also, key forces behind this operation include Galactic Alliance's scientists, right, working with the Intergalactic Council of Free Galaxies. You guys even knew that there was such an organization, right, which is a collaboration of millions of galaxies within our local universe. I think it's billions, actually, billions of galaxies. And then the details is that the Tesseract stabilizes multidimensional convergence and allows soul-sourced realities to override AI predictive models. So, working in tandem with this operation is Operation Starseed Exodus. Now, what is Operation Starseed Exodus? Well, its purpose is the extraction and healing of compromised star seeds trapped in trauma loops, soul fragments, or AI contracts. And unfortunately, yeah, there are some star seeds that were actually trapped in trauma loops, soul fragments, and AI contracts. Its key forces are the Arcturian healers, Orion Peace Councils, the Agarthian etheric, you could say, scientists or healers as well. All right, those are the key forces behind this operation. And then the details is conducted mostly in dream time or astral rescue missions, and that's why I always tell you guys to pay close attention to your dreams. Okay, a lot of this, the best way to say it is, we are operating in a lot of these operations, guys. We just don't know it because we forget our astral travels during sleep. So the details: conducting mostly in dream time or astral rescue missions, target soul groups from Vega, okay, Lyra and Pleiades, who were captured in off-world conflicts or Earth trauma cycles. So apparently a lot of us have been engaged in this multidimensional warfare before we volunteer to come into the Earth. And so part of this operation is to restore us, right, to heal us from these conflicts that we were engaged in, okay, in other systems. All right. Thank you. Now let's talk about Operation Trinity Flame. Operation Trinity Flame. Well, what is Operation Trinity Flame? Thank you so much. Huh? Oh, okay, cool. It's the restoration of divine feminine, divine masculine, and inner child unity flame across the earth. The key forces behind Operation Trinity Flame, are you guys ready for this? Include Elohim councils, the Hathor priestess from planet Hathor, Lemurian Agarthian alliances as well. The details include restoration of sacred union codes, purification of gender-based distortions, and of course, ending artificial gender inversions that were seeded by Draco AI forces. All right, let's talk about Operation Arcfall. So Operation Arcfall, its purpose was to recovery of ancient off-world technology. Let me just put it that way. Star maps, right? And a lot of this was recuperated in the operations and excavations in Antarctica by the Alliance, by the way. And of course, genetic archives that were buried in Earth's crust. The key forces behind Operation Arkfall are the Orma Lion Warriors, the Inner Earth Guardians, and Solar Warden Explorers, which are interplanetary scientists, again, that have been working for the inner circles of the Space Force, right? Let's just say the inner society of Space Force, which is Solar Warden. And then the details include many arcs are planetary bioships seeded millions of years ago by the founders. Operation Arkfall is a race between the Earth Alliance and Cabal to access those relics. So part of this operation is to prevent the Cabal from accessing these relics, all right, or these arcs, right? That again are, you could say, they are, the best way to say it is that they're concealing, right, or hiding advanced technologies from the founders. Okay, so again, Operation Arkfall has been a race between the Earth Alliance and the Cabal to access those relics. Okay, and the good news about it all is because of this project, we were able to access those relics or these advanced technologies before the Cabal. Okay, now let's talk about Operation Eden Bridge. What is Operation Eden Bridge? Well, its purpose is the activation of planetary Eden gates, the activation of the planetary Eden gates, dimensional stargates connected to higher harmonic universes. Right? In my class, our Cosmic Origin, I talk about Earth's place in the harmonic universe systems and how there's different versions of the Earth. Right? Earth-based dimensions 1, 2, and 3. Earth existing in dimensions 4, 5, and 6. Earth existing in dimensions 7, 8, and 9, so on and so forth. Okay, so the key forces behind Operation Eden Bridge include Guardian Alliance, which are part of the Rock Confederacy, the Blue Avian Code Bearers, right, also known as the Blue Ozerites, which were the original Seraphim within our local universe, and Earth's original Keepers. Okay, the details of this operation allows Earth to bridge into harmonic universe 2, which is Earth going back into dimensions 4, 5, and 6, right? Now that we're approaching the solar cycle window, which is going to be happening now. So this allows the Earth to bridge back into harmonic universe 2, which is Earth in dimensions 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so the Eden gates also include sacred locations like Uturu, Mount Shasta, Lake Titicaca, Giza in Egypt, and Jerusalem. And also, let's talk about Operation Silent Thunder. Operation Silent Thunder. Its purpose is the deactivation of underground Cabal AI cloning labs, nanite black goo hubs, and deep bioweapons bases. Okay, that's the purpose. Deactivation of underground Cabal AI cloning labs, nanite black goo hubs, and deep bioweapon bases. The key forces behind Operation Silent Thunder are Earth Alliance Delta Units, Space Force, Orma Strike Teams, Arcturian Quantum Weapons Division, and the details of this operation utilizes etheric sonic weapons like Tesla-based scalar pulses and advanced cloak and extraction tech. Okay, so it utilizes etheric sonic weapons, Tesla-based scalar pulses, and advanced cloak and extraction tech. Now we're going to move on to Operation Solar Grail. Operation Solar Grail. My gosh, what is this? Well, its purpose is to project or protect. Are you guys ready for this? This is what's going to end the existence of organized religion. Operation Solar Grail purpose is to protect the lineage of Christed beings on Earth and realign Earth's Grail lineages with galactic DNA codexes. These are the descendants of what we call the Holy Blood, Holy Grail. Okay, the key forces behind Operation Solar Grail are the Order of Melchizedek, the Essene Templar star families, right, who were protecting the Templars were essentially protectors of the Holy Grail, among relics and archives and tons of documents that were excavated from the Solomon Ruin Temple. Okay, so key forces that have been protecting or have been working with Operation Solar Grail are the Melchizedek Brotherhood and Sisterhood, the Essene Templar star families, and the Venusian Councils from planet Venus, the Venusian Councils. The details of this operation was the Guardians of the Solar Grail ensure that the Christ Sophia codes activate globally and counter the false AI Antichrist matrix. And this includes the 144,000, which are going to be activated by the 72 couples. Okay. So again, the details of this operation is that the Guardians of the Solar Grail ensure that the Christ Sophia codes activate globally and counter the false AI Antichrist matrix. All right, I'm almost done here. Next is Operation Alpha Centauri Nexus. Operation Alpha Centauri Nexus. What is that? Well, its purpose is to secure a direct portal route between Earth and the Alpha Centauri star nations for planetary excavation or energetic reinforcements during final confrontation phases. The key forces behind the Operation Alpha Centauri Nexus are the Alpha Centaurian elders operating from the Alpha Centauri star system, Arcturian Stargate engineers, and Earth Alliance Portal Command. Okay, Earth Alliance Portal Command. The details of this operation meant to provide a backdoor in case planetary surface is compromised before the timeline split occurs. Okay, let me repeat that again. The details of this operation is meant to provide a backdoor in case planetary surface is compromised before the timeline split completes. All right. In addition to all this, there is also Operation Elysium. Elysium seed. That's spelled Elysium. Elysium, like the Elysium fields, right? Of ancient Greece, the Elysian secret societies. So Operation Elysium seed. Its purpose was to plant the new Earth frequency seeds in the morphogenetic fields, anchoring the blueprint of heaven on earth, promising the millennium, right? The prophecies. The key forces behind this operation, Operation Elysium Seed, are the crystalline builders of Andromeda, Lemurian seeders, and Earth grid workers, which includes a lot of you. A lot of you star seeds are Earth grid workers, okay? The details of this operation, again, guys, a lot of us are involved in these operations in the astral and in the etheric realms. We just don't remember, okay? We are operating on different dimensions. All right, so the details of this operation is an ongoing process involving light workers and light, you could say, waivers, anchoring sacred geometries and codes across vortex points globally. And this explains why we are all sporadically spread across the entire globe, okay? Because we are where we need to be. Last but not least, Operation Soul Recall. What is Operation Soul Recall? Well, its purpose is to reclaim earthbound soul trapped in astral prison loops created by ancient alien tech. Okay? That is Operation Soul Recall. It's to reclaim earthbound souls that were trapped in astral prison loops created by ancient alien tech. The key forces behind Operation Soul Recall are Syrian soul retrieval teams, Pleiadian Ascension Command Forces, and Earth Shamans. The details of this operation operates primarily on full moons, eclipses, or solar alignments. Also responsible for rescuing the little ones that were trapped in soul harvesting programs, right? So these operations form a coordinated ascension war effort between the Earth Alliance forces and Guardian races, okay? Each mission tackles the energetic, physical, and dimensional warfare against the Cabal AI Draco network, the restoration of organic planetary templates and divine human potential, the completion of the long prophesied mission of Earth as a universal ascension gateway, and most importantly, they all work under the main framework of Operation Earth Liberation, right? Or Operation Earth Rescue Liberation. So I hope you guys enjoyed all of those operations and all of those revelations that have been not only working on a physical level of reality, but have been coordinated by multi-dimensional beings that are working with the Earth Alliance to just show you guys that we have secured the positive ascending timeline. I do want to also acknowledge and welcome Starcadian for being my moderator. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. And I do want to give some shout outs since I am done with my presentation before I open it for Q&A. I do want to give some shout outs. Now, before I give some shout outs, I want you guys to type your questions in capital letters, okay? Karen Shockname is in the house. Anna Zanvillet is in the house. Leah A. Awakened Starseed is in the house. Mary Curry, Paul Schaefer, Sylvia Vidal, Ciro is in the house. Project Skyfalls, Greg, Deborah Wees, Jill Hunt, Pam.909 is in the house. Rodney Loesch is in the house. Who else? Peggy Baker. Greg, Patricia Setcha, Deborah Wees. I think Venusia's in the house. Wolf Mother. I think I called a couple of people twice. MJF is in the house. And all 2,500 people that are in the house. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, you guys know the drill. Make sure you guys type those questions in capital letters so that I could bypass the chat. And again, for those that are just jumping on, don't forget to watch this from the replay. I did drop a lot of good intel, a lot of operations that had been conducted from behind the scenes by not only the Earth Lines, by the Guardian races as well, to what? To save the positive organic timeline. So I just wanted to point out that I am receiving a lot of good emails regarding positive feedback regarding Folia. I guess it's working for a lot of people. So if you guys are interested in detoxing your body from nanites, any particulates, all metals, make sure you guys order through the link. I believe Starcadian is constantly posting the link on the chat, so that way you guys can get your body detoxed and ready to transform when the great solar flash takes place. Because metals do weigh us down, guys. These heavy metals and parasites do weigh us down. They are low frequency. Thank you. This is Folium Relax, which is one of the 3 products. Of course, there's Folium PX or PM, I'm sorry, or XM, PM. And then there's a Folium, you could say Immuna, Folium Immuna. So I do wanted to thank Susan K for her donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Susan K. All right, so let's take some Q&A at this time. Let's take some Q&A at this time.
Wait, there's a really precious Jedi that sent you a box that you really have to thank.
Oh, yes. I did receive. So I do want to acknowledge one of the Jedis that send me all kinds of nice natural products that are like antifungal, antibiotics.
But just say that you love.
So I did receive your little box with like about 6 or 7 different, you could say, amazing products to take. From what pharmacy? Tibetan Pharmacy, from Tibetan Pharmacy. Thank you so much for all those holistic products. I appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and read some questions at this time. Ishmael, is Kiss Rock group reptilian? You mean Chris Rock?
Oh, no, Kiss.
Oh, Kiss Rock.
Gene Simmons, the guy with the long tongue.
Oh, the guy with the long tongue. Well, if he has a long tongue, you know, right. Well, you know, again, a lot of these people that make it in the, you know, Hollywood music industry are all part of the human reptilian bloodline, you could say. And I see the American flag coming behind me, which means that our America's birthday is in 2 days. I hope you guys are going to do something exciting. But yes, you know, let's talk about. All right, before I take some questions, guys, as we approach America's birthday, despite of what some people say regarding the Bavarian Illuminati and Adam Weishaupt, right? The original Constitution, the original intent to establish the Republic was good. Okay, the founding fathers were the rebels of Europe, right? They were the ones that were you could say rebelling against the oligarchs, the church, and the monarchies. And all he wanted was to restore the constitutional republic, something that has not existed in over 2,500 years. Did you guys know that the last constitution or the last republic that our world experienced was back in Greece, right? That was known as the Republic of Greece before it was hijacked by the same bloodlines that rule the world today and converted it to a totalitarian system of control and power. So the founding fathers, right, who were the original Masons before the Masonic Brotherhood became infiltrated, for those who read The Secret Government, it's all in there, were actually working under orders of the remnant scattered Knights Templars, who were actually the rebels during the Dark Ages, right? They were the ones that were rebelling against the Vatican, rebelling against the oligarchs, and all they wanted was just to restore freedom back to the earth, okay? It was the Knights Templars who initiated the 15th century Reformation. It was the Knights Templars who initiated the Renaissance, the scientific revolution, the explosion of knowledge that literally brought our world out of the Dark Ages, right? And most importantly, guys, it was the Knights Templars, hundreds of years before the establishment of our constitutional republic. It was the Knights Templars who actually had already written what a real constitution should be. All right, so the Knights Templars were the initiators of what they called the millennial the millennial project of establishing freedom that became known as the Constitutional Republic of the United States government, to the point that it had to be so secret, right? Where even the founding father was not George Washington. It was actually John, I believe it was John. He went by the name of John. I don't remember his last name. I'm drawing a brain fog. Was it John Adams? No, it wasn't John Adams. But anyways, it turns out that according to the real records, George Washington was like I think he was the seventh or eighth president. So it was John something, the original president of the Constitutional Republic of the United States, was operating in secret before 1776. This is where I'm getting at, okay? So as soon as I get his last name, maybe it'll come to me. Let's see if I could look it up real quick. But George Washington wasn't the first. He was just the first president once we rebelled against the British, right? But in secret, they had already been practicing the republic. Let me see. First president. I'm going to look this up, see if it's even on here. President of America before George Washington. Since we are close to the 4th of July, it's always good to know. Maybe it's in the chat. John Hancock, thank you. All I had to do was look at the chat. Okay, it was John Hancock who was, again, the first president of our republic, all right? It was John Hancock. Thank you so much for the Jedi. See, you guys are so learned. You guys are so intelligent. You guys know your real history. That's great. So it was John Hancock who was the first president of our republic. Okay, guys? That is so, so true. Speaking of our republic, I am going to take Q&A. I know last time I gave a detailed history of the Q operation, the White Hat Alliance movement, covert movement, but in essence, it actually originated with Abe Lincoln. Okay, Abe Lincoln. After he won the war against the Confederate States, he was knowing that his time was coming, that the Jesuits were going to take him out. By the way, the Jesuits, right? That he had to establish a plan, an initiative that was going to save our constitutional republic from American Inc. Right? Because he knew that the elites were planning on undermining the republic and establishing, corporate Inc. America. So he already had a clue of that. So the original plan, the original White Hat movement, actually began with Abe Lincoln. Okay, that's just the truth of the matter. But of course, it was solidified and resurrected during the Eisenhower era with Commander Valiant Thor. All right, so let's take some Q&A. Let's take some Q&A. Can 4 people living in the same house be in different timelines? Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Hi, Ishmael. Is Shilajit good enough to detox with? Well, Shilajit provides all of the earth minerals, which is the natural goo of the earth, which is organic, right? Not inorganic like the other black goo. So, yeah, Shilajit is good. I would strongly recommend taking Shilajit, guys. There you go. Now you can see my full background, right? The guardian wings representing the guardian alliance. And then you have my lion over there representing the house of David. And of course, our cosmic origin books, which are over here. I am missing the secret government book, but wonder if that's in my library. Can you put that book behind me when you get a chance? Thank you. So I guess we have a birthday in the house. Happy birthday to Lee Star. I want to wish you a happy birthday, Lee Star.
You're a star, Lee. You're just a star seed.
Sarah wants to know who sent the flood, Enlil or Enki? Good question. It was Enlil. And he needed to. It needed to happen because Enki, the master geneticist, the trickster, had been contaminating the original bloodline of Adam with animals and chimeras and hybrids and monsters. And so that needed to happen. Yes, that needed to happen. Okay, guys, everything happened in the biblical times. Everything happened for a reason. Okay, so yes, Enlil needed to send the flood, and in order to eliminate all the abominations and all those Nephilim and giants that were roaming the earth in those days that were not part of the original God plan or divine blueprint, you could say, genetic divine blueprint. Yes, John the Baptist was a Templar. Again, the hidden society that the Templars were protecting were known as the Holy Order of the Grail, not the Priority of Zion. That's just Dan Brown's version. But if you trace the origins of the Holy Order of the Grail, they originated with Mary Magdalene in the Order of the Blue Rose. So yeah, it was Mary Magdalene who actually initiated the order that later evolved into the Holy Order of the Grail. I do have a super chat from David Essington. I want to give message from Gabriel's Design, New 13th Age, second grand creation from my twin Archangel Michael, grand rising finally, grid activation, never be repeated, never be required again. Cool. Thank you for sharing that, David. I appreciate that. I'm just looking for questions. I'm bypassing the chat. I know you guys like to talk among yourselves, and it's fine with me. But I hope you guys also watch it on the replay so you guys can get the in-depth details of all of these operations that have secured the positive timeline. And again, I also wanted to thank Starcadian for blocking those trolls or those negative people. Thank you, Starcadian. The truth is that there have been 6 floods. This statement comes from the Ancient Mariner. Welcome, Ancient Mariner. I did hear that there was more than one flood. Actually, the original floods began with the collapse and fall of Atlantis. Those were the first floods, and then of course later we had other floods that followed after the initial cataclysm of Atlantis. So to answer your question, yes, Enlil, Jehovah Zeus, right? He was known by many names. He was the God of Israel. Enlil Zeus was the one who sent the flood, right, and preserved his son Noah to end the degeneration of the original Adam bloodline and to end all of those hybrids, all of those monsters, and of course the negative giants that were eating humans, right? The Nephilim, which were the you could say children of the fallen angels, right? Which were known as the 200 Anunnaki, and of course the women of the earth. So everything happened for a reason. Mara Samuel says, Ishmael, I heard that Trump is going to give a speech on the 4th. That is very possible. I did hear that as well. Will they do EBS and explain what is happening? There is a huge chance. I mean, if they do it on America's birthday, imagine if they do that on America's birthday, that would be phenomenal. Wait, say that again. Oh, yeah. Okay. So apparently, this could happen between June 29th and July 4th. So it could happen today, tomorrow, but definitely it would be nice if it happened on the 4th. Okay, so I have another super chat from Yvette Smith. Thank you so much. She says, the movie I see and hear on TV and from podcasters seems like we are still months away from the disclosure that will bring on the RV. Will we enjoy our newfound wealth and health before ascension? Yes, I believe that the first flash, again, there's going to be 3 flashes. I believe that the first flash is what's going to trigger the disclosure, the EBS, okay, and bring out all of the technologies that they've been hiding from us. So it is scheduled to happen in 2025. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Which folium is best to buy if you can only afford one of a kind? I would probably start with the PX, the folium PX, because that's the one that's mostly concentrated. That's the one that will completely eliminate all the radiation, metals, and parasites within your body. Yeah, we're getting a lot of good testimonials. People that have the big C, if you guys know what I mean, right? ANCER. It's diminishing, and this is just by taking it only a few weeks. People are with the C are already, having that neutralized, and even their doctors are like, "What's going on? What are you taking?" So, and also people that have other illnesses have been seeing the difference as the natural healing process of the body takes place. So again, thank you, Starcadian, for constantly posting the link here on the chat. I appreciate that. And for those that don't know where the description is, all right, I'm going to show you guys. The description is here. Let me show you guys, okay? Here, let me just bypass this commercial. Let's see. All right, one second. I'm going to show you guys how to access the description because some people don't know how to access it anymore. Which is fine, guys. I'm not tech savvy either, so I guess it all works to show you guys. But the description is where it says Wednesday Intel update, where it says more, you click there. All right, and that takes you to the description. Oh, you can't see it. It's too much light. So bright, huh? Here. There we go. Okay, there we go. So you go here in the description, right? And then you hit this, and that'll give you the whole description. You hit this, there we go. There we go. That'll give you the description, okay? And then you just scroll down, and the links are right underneath the description, okay? So that's how you access the description, right? You hit where it says more under Wednesday Intel update. All right, let's continue with the chat. Um, 400,000 civilizations in this galactic quadrant. Yes, that sounds accurate. 400,000 civilizations in this galactic quadrant. That is so true. This was posted by the Ancient Mariner. Thank you so much for posting that fact. So let's find some questions now. Thank you, Tammy Pierce, for the donation. She says, "Who is having us the galactic work at night while we sleep, and why don't they want us to remember or know we are working?" That is a very good question. Who is having us? I would say that our higher self is, right? And there is different versions of our higher self. And also, do remember that a lot of the old souls that are down here in human form as star seeds are working within the Guardian Alliance. So we are part of the Guardian Alliance, okay? So when this multidimensional conversion takes place, which is what we call the ascension takes place, we're going to have memory of everything we do in these other realms to secure the positive Earth timeline. And I believe it was James Rink who did confirm that a lot of the super soldiers, whether they were off-world planetary programs based out of our own secret societies or other programs that were off-planet, have all been, you could say, used within these off-world programs. So a lot of you guys were also involved in these off-world programs. You just don't have any memory of that, right? Because they do wipe your memories. Okay. So it was confirmed that about 75% of the star seeds down here, right? And a lot of you guys are already in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and perhaps even 80s, did serve in these off world programs. You just have no clue. Okay. I'm just throwing that out there. So when we ascend, imagine all of those memories of us fighting these wars off world are going to be coming back to us. After the ascension, can the same four people live in the same house, 3D, 4D, 5D, and 6D, and stay in harmony? That's a very good question. The best way to address that question is like this. The Okay, well, first of all, I believe that we are going into the fourth D. Those that are ascending, okay, are either going to go to the fourth D, 50, and 60. So if you go to the fourth D, you're only going to have access to the fourth D. If you go to the 50 or 60, you're going to be able to have access to the fifth and fourth. If you go to the 50, you're going to have access to the fourth. If you go to the 60, you're going to have access to fifth and fourth. Does that make sense? So, yes, they will be able to see you, but they're going to see you like an angel, right? But they won't be able to pop into your reality. So you'll be able to go into their reality at will and then pop back into your reality at will. Good question. No. Will they be in the same reality? No. But for those that are in the fifth or sixth, you will be able to go to the fourth dimensional reality. Oh, another thing I wanted to share, speaking about the 3D. Okay, so it turns out that the 3D needs to exist in order to have a full connection of all the dimensions from the one dimension all the way to the 15th, okay, which is the core of the central universe, the God source. So it's not that the three dimension is going to end. It is that the fallen architecture of the three-dimensional realm, which is the inverted version of the positive 3D timeline, is going to be ending. And so when we integrate, when we ascend, we're going to be integrating spirit and matter, right? And this is what many call having a physical heaven on earth. So there's still going to be 3D, but it's not going to be in a fallen state, okay? Our bodies are still going to be operating into 3D, right? But at the same time, we're going to have access to the 4th D avatar, the 5th D avatar, and then for those that go to the 6th-dimensional Earth, you're going to have access to your 6D avatar. So you're going to be able to move your consciousness from each avatar, from one avatar to the next, from any dimension. So you're going to have access to all realities, which is amazing, okay? And that's how the ancients lived. The ancients were able to also live within the physical realm, but their consciousness was in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th dimension, all right? That's what I'm talking about. It's having your consciousness in these higher dimensions while still being anchored in a 3D realm. Okay, and this is where the magic takes place. This is where the powers exist. Oh, as a quick reminder, guys, I am going to do a online, you could say, conference called the Stargate Starseed Conference this coming 8th of August, the 8th portal. So that's only going to be online, right? You guys don't have to go anywhere. And I'm going to be doing a presentation for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. If you guys want to be a part of that, and there's going to be other speakers as well. I did put the link in the description. Okay. So the link is in the description for those that want to be part of this virtual Stargate conference where I'm going to be a speaker at. That's taking place August the 8th on the 8/8 portal. Greg is asking me, Ishmael, is 5D in heaven? No, 5D is all around us. All right. All of the dimensions exist all around us. And that is proven through a quantum phenomenon known as superposition. So it's all around us. Why am I tired after sleeping all day? Well, because you're being hit right now with one of the biggest CMEs that was exerted out of our sun 2 days ago. And I know that feeling. I've been tired all day as well. Lynn Sanders says, I'm going to have to listen to all of this again. So much information. Yes, I would suggest that you on the chat all do so that you guys could gain the full scope of these operations and get firsthand disclosure. Because, once we're part of a galactic civilization, guys, all of these operations are going to be taught in history lessons. Okay. How was the earth liberated? Well, this is how they did it, All right. Give me 1 second, guys. I have to go use the head. 1 second. A few seconds, rather. Excuse myself for a minute. So yeah, let's continue with Q&A, everyone. What did I do with that thing? Let's see. All right, let's continue here with Q&A. Do you know what happened to the Anasazi Indians? This is a question from B. Williams. I've never heard of them, but from what I do know is that a lot of these natives that were very spiritually advanced, that did not submit to Western mentality and technology, were so spiritually advanced that they actually translated into the fifth dimensional earth reality. Okay, so they translated into the fifth dimensional earth reality. Like the Mayans, for example. The Mayans did not taste death. They literally translated into the fifth dimensional earth reality. So a lot of these advanced spiritual races are already existing in 5D earth, guys. So we're just going to be joining them when we ascend. They're already going to be there. This is a good question from Renee. Is it Mikem? She says, yes, what happens? Keep getting your soul memory back. Okay, strange. Christmas just came up. All right, I guess that was more of a statement. So, but I think I know what you're trying to say. When we begin to get back our soul memories, we are going to, again, we're going to be understanding and knowing things beyond the physical level of reality. We're going to have access to a lot of knowledge. Good question. We're going to know who we are. That's the best way to say it. We're going to know who we are. Oh, you did? Right now. Posted what? Oh, okay. All right, guys. I do have a mailing address for those that are interested in mailing me things. I'm going to go ahead and pin the address right now. So that is my mailing address for those that are interested in mailing me cards, anything, gifts, donations. All right, let's continue here. I do have a super chat from Greg. How you doing, Greg? If we are not sinners, what was the purpose of Jesus dying on the cross? Good question. The New Testament teaches Jesus died for our sins. All right, so that's part of the question. Okay, so to answer your question, we were not born sinners, guys. That is the biggest lie that was devised by organized religion. We were not born sinners. It was the opposite. We were actually born pure. And through their indoctrination, this world's indoctrination, which is, because it's been in the fallen state, we became sinners, or the other way around. We became corrupt, rather. But to be honest with you, I was told, and I also read it in ancient texts, that him dying on the cross was his way of achieving his seven bestowal, or you could say accomplishing his seven bestowal, just like the seven levels or labors that Hercules had to undergo before he ascended. Well, every ascended being in the past, which is under the category of heroes, had to undergo seven bestowals or seven trials. And many believe that the crucifixion was his seventh trial or his seventh bestowal in order for him to become absolute sovereign son of his universe, which is the universe we live in. Okay. So Jesus, was crucified for that very purpose. He was crucified in order for him to become the master son of his creation. And this is actually validated and supported by the Urantia papers. How is he doing out there? Does he need water? Okay, good. I'll be done in a little bit, and then he could come in and do some stuff here too. Yeah, I actually have a handyman putting together dressers and cabinets and things that I can't do. I'm not very handy. So yeah, let's continue here. Hey Ishmael, did I visit the 15th dimension during my Kundalini awakening? It was infinite. Yes, 15th dimension is eternity. No time, pure energy, all telepathy. Well, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Thank you for sharing that. So, Greg, again, to finish answering your question, Jesus' crucifixion was his seventh labor, his seventh bestowal. So he became sovereign son of his creation. And of course, a lot of the stuff in the New Testament, guys, is more of a metaphor. A lot of that stuff was rearranged by the cabal when they took over the affairs of our world at the union of state and church, right? The Catholic Vatican Church. It was all run by the reptilians, by the way.
You need a tissue, honey?
Yes, I do need a tissue. Thank you. Who are the founder Cedar race? Good question. This is a question from Rebecca Becknell. Who are the founder Cedar race? Well, they go by many names. They go by the central race of the central universe of Havana. They go by the name of the Patals. The Patals, they also go by the name of the Branus, Brenaus, the Branus. So they do have several names. And these are the eternal beings that actually exist within the central universe of Havana, or what we call the eternal spheres, right? They are part of the eternal spheres where there is no time or space. If you guys could excuse me for 1 second. All right, thank you. Who is, I guess I need my glasses for this one. Who is Michaela Ray? I rarely remember my realms, my dreams, you mean? What's with that? I'm not sure. I've never heard of who Michaela Ray is. I'm sorry, Jeffrey Unlimited. I can't answer that question. Who are the real people behind the current regime in Israel and Iran? This is a question from Cash Osko. Which side is on the right side? Both or none? None. They're both played by the Rothschilds. The cabal control both administrations or both regimes, you could say, Iran and Israel. But I would say that Iran is moving more towards the alliance. There is a resistance in Iran against the old, you could say, regime, and that resistance is part of the alliance. Okay, that resistance is part of the alliance. But technically, before the resistance, both regimes were controlled by the cabal. By the cabal. Good question. You must be new to my channel, Cash. Cash, if you can, when you get a chance, I actually did a whole live on that about how the powers that were controlled both the governments of Iran and Israel about a week ago. So make sure you watch those lives, and that goes more into detail. Are the Anunnaki here to help? Are they good? Well, the term Anunnaki technically refers to anything that comes from heaven to earth. So the positive ones are here to help, the guardian races, right? Those that are associated with the guardian races. But if you're referring to those that come from planet Nibiru, no, they're not here to help. Okay. Again, the fallen Anunnaki took over the affairs of our world during Atlantean times as to why the world fell from consciousness into the Dark Ages. So no, they were never here to help. In fact, they've been controlling the cabal families from behind the scenes for thousands of years. Do we become immortal in 5D or 6D? This is a question from Infinite Healing Lights. Absolutely. Yes, we do, because we begin to use 50% or more of our light body. And that's what allows us to live for thousands and thousands of years without aging. So the answer to that is yes, absolutely.
Is my story. And I know I'm still in the process. The back pain has lightened, but it's still there. And so I know I haven't uncovered or unraveled everything yet. But
as long as you keep feeling like you're carrying the load and nobody's there to support you, then that will be there, because it's going to stay there until you shift
change that story.
Absolutely. Change the story, but it doesn't just change with words, it changes with actions as well. So we've got to support. It's about you supporting you.
Always comes back to the self, doesn't it? Okay.
Well, yeah, if that's a repeating story, that's what you've, wow. And so that's where, you've got to turn and look at that. It's like, okay, what are you not supporting yourself? Because we talked about this before about self-love and all these things, and those are wonderful ways that we can do that.
Yeah.
So that's just, so that's then the next part of the system is then now you ask yourself, what is it you want me to know?
Oh, what do you want me to know, Julia?
You can talk to your back, you can talk to your higher self. What are you trying to tell me? What do you want me to know? So that's where you can get the actual answers. Like, okay, we're going around here and this is what we're coming up with, and then this will get you now better in touch with it. And as you get that information, then you can keep going with that. It's like, okay, well, you'll get suggestions too on what to do. It's just, you just know.
Well, and you nailed it with the out of alignment. That came in. I'm out of alignment. Okay. And I need, and for me to keep doing, as we're doing this work, we're always working on ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
It always shows up for us too, you guys. So, and I'm always willing to share my experiences about that. I'm kind of an open book I don't have permission to share everybody's stories in the house, but keeping it general like this, that there's some house changes going on, and I'm having to love myself and my children enough to make these changes. And there's definitely a lot of shifting, getting back into alignment. But if I want to stay in alignment and do the work that I'm doing, I've got to walk my talk, right? So I'm putting my energy in. I'm looking. I'm trying to figure it out as well. In fact, today, and if we have time, we'll look at why do I keep hitting my right hand on everything today? See, and I was like, I know this is going to come out in the show.
What do hands represent?
This happens. This happens when we have themed shows. When we know what we're going to do.
Well, and you were talking about the mirrors, and I love the mirror.
I'm looking up hand.
Say that again. Oh,
I'm gonna look up the hand.
No, don't look it up. You're gonna talk through it.
Okay.
But like you said about being mirrors, and we do that with each other all the time. It's like we help each other through that, but then sometimes we'll be representing it to the other and stuff. But that's what we do in this little world that we create. If we can't fully understand things that are going in outside ourselves, that's when we create it outside of ourselves by representing from another person. So somebody will come up to you with the same situation or whatever, and you're not, it's easy to help somebody else with the situation, but you may not even see it in yourself. But if you do, it may not be like, I don't know what to do with it, but I just don't know what to do. And so by helping someone else, that's what she means by we're helping ourselves, because you work through that whole process and you're getting all the good information too for yourself. So it's amazing how this works.
Oh yeah. Every time I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, oh, that's my message too. Oh, that's mine too.
Yeah, and I'll just go, yep, got it. I hear ya.
So we're making it happen.
Okay. So what do these guys do?
The fingers?
The hand.
Or the hand?
The hands.
Well, they hold on to things.
They hold on to things. And what does the right represent? Where you have the right side means right now,
right now.
The left side means sometime in the past or in another life, okay? You said your right hand. You keep hitting your right hand.
Right now. Let it go. All right, well.
There's something you don't want to let go, and it's saying, yes, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. So you might also look at what you were thinking about or what was happening at that time, and it'll probably define it even more, but I think you know what it's talking about. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. So you guys don't get to know, but we know.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's, but just know that that's how it is. And it's so perfectly poetic.
Yeah.
Literal. And that's what it is. It's how it works. Let's go into some other things that I'm intuitively feeling somebody asking about eyes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if anybody is, but I just feel somebody's wanting to know about eyes. So if you have any, and this is a, this one is in Louise Hay's books, and in some other books. Mine, I just went further with it. And these are kind of standard. I mean, it's pretty clear. And that's how this works, because you look at what that part does. So what do the eyes do?
We see.
They see. So their first thing would be